What happens when a country that was once enslaved by colonizers, impoverished by neoliberal policies, and terrorized by foreign-backed insurgencies decides enough is enough? What happens when it breaks the chains of dependency, turns its back on puppet diplomacy, and looks east for power, partnership, and peace? Look no further than Mali. Once seen as just another pawn in the geopolitical chess game of West Africa, Mali is now repositioning itself as a player, bold, sovereign, and unafraid. And the latest agreement signed between Mali and Russia on June 23, 2025, might just mark the beginning of a radical shift not just for Mali, but for the entire African continent. This is not just about trade or diplomacy. This is about reclaiming dignity. This is about saying, we will no longer be dictated to. We will define our own future. In a move that left Western analysts scrambling to reassess their outdated colonial playbooks, Mali's transitional president, General Assimi Goïta, landed in Moscow to sign a set of strategic agreements with none other than President Vladimir Putin. On the table, energy, security, trade, science. But beneath those technical categories lies something far more powerful: sovereignty. The first agreement established a Russo-Malian intergovernmental commission dedicated to deepening cooperation in commerce, economy, science, and technology. But don't let the bureaucratic language fool you. This is a game changer. This commission isn't just about pushing papers. It's about pushing back. For years, Mali has been stuck in a vicious cycle, exporting raw resources, importing overpriced goods, and receiving crumbs of aid disguised as development. Now, with this legal framework, Mali can welcome Russian investment in key sectors, gain access to advanced technologies, and open its doors to new markets far beyond the grip of former colonial masters. This agreement is also symbolic. It reinforces Mali's multipolar diplomatic strategy, a rejection of single-bloc dominance, and a declaration that Africa will choose its partners based on mutual respect, not coercion. But this was only the beginning. The second agreement, signed between Mali and the Russian nuclear energy giant ROSATOM, is nothing short of revolutionary. For decades, Mali, and much of sub-Saharan Africa, has been crippled by energy shortages. Blackouts are a daily reality. Businesses suffer, hospitals go dark, students can't study at night, agriculture remains limited. But with this deal, Mali is taking the first step towards something almost unimaginable in recent years: energy independence. And not just any energy, nuclear energy. This agreement will enable Mali to develop peaceful nuclear infrastructure, train a new generation of engineers, and transfer critical technologies. It's a direct investment not just in electricity, but in the future of Malian industry. Factories that had once shut their doors due to lack of power could soon roar back to life. Universities can become centers of innovation. The agricultural sector can finally benefit from cold chains and irrigation powered by consistent energy. And all of this without begging the IMF or depending on diesel donations from Paris. This is what sovereignty looks like in the 21st century. Owning your energy, training your people, and refusing to be held hostage by foreign policy conditionalities. The third agreement is perhaps the most politically explosive. It lays the foundation for long-term bilateral relations between Mali and Russia, covering diplomacy, respect for sovereignty, and crucially, security cooperation. Let's be clear. Mali is a nation that has suffered profoundly from the scourge of terrorism. For over a decade, armed groups, many allegedly armed or funded through complex foreign interests, have destabilized the Sahel. And despite a heavy French military presence for years under Operation Barkhane, the violence only escalated. But Mali has changed course. By removing French forces and partnering with allies like Russia and the Wagner Group, now integrated under Russian command, Mali has begun to take back control of its territory. The latest agreement builds on that momentum. It includes training for Malian forces, the supply of advanced military equipment, and structured operational support. This is not about outsourcing defense. It's about building capacity, developing national expertise, and fighting side by side with partners who respect Mali's right to self-defense, without lectures, without hidden agendas. And this is just the beginning. Before we continue, we want to pause and say thank you to all our subscribers and members here at Voice of Africa. You are the reason we can tell these stories. Stories that the mainstream media refuses to cover. Stories that highlight African strength, resilience, and pride. If you believe in a sovereign Africa, if you're tired of the lies and the silence, then please consider supporting this channel through super thanks, sharing this video, and encouraging others to subscribe. Your voice matters. Together, we are rewriting the narrative. What Mali has done is bigger than Mali. It's a signal to Burkina Faso, to Niger, to Guinea, to Chad, and to all nations tired of playing the puppet. It shows that you don't have to follow Paris script whispers to succeed. You can look east. You can look inward. You can stand tall. And make no mistake, other African leaders are watching. With the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, already forging new defense and development frameworks outside ECOWAS and without Western blessing, these Mali-Russia agreements only deepen the movement toward a new Pan-African era. One where cooperation is horizontal, not vertical. One where aid is replaced by mutual exchange and dependence is replaced by dignity. In the energy sector, this could mean the beginning of an African nuclear age, not controlled by the IAEA's biased politics, but led by countries that respect national autonomy. In trade, it could mark a pivot away from exporting cocoa for cents and importing chocolate for dollars toward value-added industries built by Africans for Africans. In security, it's a clear message. Africa will protect Africa. Not with occupation forces, but with partnerships that prioritize the continent's needs, not foreign extraction. Predictably, the Western media has gone into overdrive. Russia expands influence in West Africa. Putin using Mali to counter NATO presence. Energy deal raises nuclear safety concerns. But what these headlines don't mention is the decades of neglect, the coups backed in the shadows, the false promises of development, and the billions siphoned out through corrupt contracts and unfair trade. What they don't say is that Mali didn't turn away from the West because of ideology. It did so because of reality. The people of Mali, like many Africans, are tired of being told to be patient while they suffer. Tired of watching their leaders fly to summits only to return with nothing but press photos. Tired of being lied to. Mali's new direction is about results. And so far, those results are beginning to show in liberated zones, in energy plans, and in diplomatic confidence. The question now is, who will be next? Will more African nations join this movement of multipolar sovereign diplomacy? Will they dare to ask for more than loans and lectures? Will they invest in their own people, their own energy, their own security? Or will they remain chained to a system that was never designed for their rise? The world is shifting. The unipolar moment is over. And while the West is still clinging to the myth of its own supremacy, nations like Mali are busy building the future, not as junior partners, but as equals. What we're witnessing isn't just a diplomatic move, it's a continental awakening. Mali's partnership with Russia isn't perfect, and there will be challenges. But for the first time in a long time, it feels like the decisions are being made in Bamako, not Brussels. That's progress. And for every African watching, listening, and learning, it's a reminder that sovereignty is not given. It's taken. It's defended. It's built. So the next time they ask, why is Mali working with Russia? You answer, because Mali finally remembered who she is. If this story inspired you, don't just scroll. Speak up. Share this video. Support independent African media. And subscribe to Voice of Africa, where we tell the truth they want buried. Africa is rising. The world better pay attention.